I really just don't get behind. First of all, I don't get behind this idea that being a veteran makes you entitled to a lot of stuff.
Or at least more
Uh,
stuff than anyone else.
yeah,
That's the way.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I joined the military because the opportunity there was bigger than anything I was going to get. Like I could have went and worked on the line at the factory,
Mm-hmm.
ended up with a broke back from slumping over for 30 years on the line at the factory, or I could go to the military and carry a rucksack for 20 something years and have my back go bad. Either way, I'm going to end up with a back. And, but the idea that the person who works at the factory providing whatever service to the community and to society that they provide is entitled to nothing when they become disabled, but because you join the military, you're entitled to $3,700 a month tax free from the VA for 100% disability, where you can still work another job if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Just blows my mind. I don't think that way. Like this whole we're a special class of people who can do no wrong, who society should bend over backwards 24/7 to just like compensate us repeatedly every day. Oh, thank you for your service. I don't. Mm-mm, don't.
Yeah. Yeah. So with the homelessness thing, I wouldn't agree necessarily that a lot of homeless people choose to be homeless. It's like you said that it's a byproduct of like either addiction or some sort of mental illness where they're unable to keep steady employment. I think given the option, most would rather have a house than not have a house. But that's what it usually comes down to. And with the military in particular, there are tons of programs for homeless veterans, like ton. That's one thing that is just amazing, like how you were talking about how people the memes with the VA and how it got a bad rap because it was apparently pretty bad 20 or 30 years ago. It was apparently just awful, and that's where like the connotation came from, and it kind of stuck around. Although it's gotten a lot better, even in one of the ways Trump tried to take credit for with VA Choice. So basically, what that is that if I need to see a doctor for X for whatever reason, my knee, shoulder, back, or whatever, if they can't see me within a certain amount of time, I can't remember, it's 30 days, 60 days. If they cannot see me, there's a list of private providers that they will send you to that they've contracted with. So you're not waiting forever to do it. And that actually was signed under Obama, but Trump tried to take credit for it, which is pretty funny. But I couldn't agree with you more about this. I would say undeserved veneration we have for the military as this class of superheroes who you have to kiss the feet of every time you see them. And let's be real, you were in the military. Uh, Soldiers or Marines and airmen, whatever, they play into it. Like a lot of them really shit on civilians every chance they get. They're talking about all these fucking civilians. They're lazy. Whatever. I've been in the military a long time. You guys are lazy too. Trust me, I've seen it. And they act like the fact that, okay, yeah, you were in the military, you did a job, you did a service to the nation. True. And yeah, you do deserve those benefits. However, you're telling me stonemasons don't deserve those benefits? You're telling me teachers don't? You're telling me firefighters or carpenters, anybody who also, donates their life and their body and their time and time with their family to better this nation? Nah, fuck them. They don't get anything. That's wild that we have that kind of point of view in this country.
Yeah, yeah, totally. The idea that the service that is provided through being in the armed forces is up here, and the service that is being provided in all the different professions and careers that make this country and society what it is just it's a hero worship, and it's a new thing.
Yes.
That's the thing, is it's a new thing. You wouldn't go back to 1930 and have somebody walk into a community wearing a uniform of the armed forces and have everybody that comes into contact with them bend over backwards and just worship them as a, like, this is a very new Lee Greenwood, God bless the USA, conservative rhetoric.
Yeah, yeah. Especially, it is. Listen, this is just my thing here, but it especially annoys me when you have some guy who served 3 years, got out as an E3 because he was chaptered for height and weight, and he walks in acting like he's Audie Murphy or some shit. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. That really bugs me when they play into it. And also with one thing I've noticed a lot is it's also the obsession with masculinity, which is very interesting and seeing from the military standpoint, because I don't know about you, but I've noticed that a lot of the guys who, present themselves as the most hyper masculine guys, the Rangers, stuff like that. Those are the most emotional people I have ever seen in my life. I have never met someone who was, tabbed up with everything you could imagine, whatever, who was like a strong, silent type. They were always wildly emotional, like in every aspect, like not just like, oh, I'm violent emotional, but when things go wrong, they cry, they break down, like they're mentally, not maybe mentally unstable, but they're more in touch with their emotions than I have ever been. Like I am far more of a better example of someone who is like the stoic, strong, silent person than your average, right wing, trigger happy, Rambo wannabe. Have you noticed this? Because I noticed this a long time ago.
Yeah, I think that this idea of developing a culture that's built around what we do is really important. What we do is the most important. What we do is very scary and dangerous. And I'm like, if you're having to, it's almost like having to build a justification for who you are and what you do. Like people who do that, they're trying to compensate for something. You know what I mean?
Every time.
It's like, and I'm a lot like you. Like, I'm super laid back. I don't ever lead with I'm a veteran. The fact I'm a veteran doesn't mean anything. I don't expect anybody to do whatever. I've been very I've done some kind of I know how to shoot. I'm a good shooter. I'm a competitive shooter. I've shot at the all army competition before. Shot some pretty top shooters in the military, and I don't feel the need to prove anything to anybody.
Right?
So it's like these alpha males in my comments with, "Oh, you little beta!" Like, I don't have anything to prove to you, man.
Right? Yeah.
But the fact that you're hiding behind a faceless profile,
yep.
I could, I'm 100% confident I could destroy you, like, man to man. But I don't feel the need to, or like, that culture to me is just so weird.
It is a deep insecurity. It's like
no one me, and I don't get it. I'm not into it, and I'm not. I'm just one of these people that I'm a veteran, and I'm in still, but it's not my total identity. I'm not going to be this person who goes to the Legion or the VFW, and for the 30 or 40 years that I live after I retire, all I'm ever going to identify as is.
Oh no.
Still there? Am I still there?
Yeah, I lost it for a second. I'm sorry.
But if we looked at somebody who was like an electrician for 20 years, and then they retired, and like all day long, all they talked about was how they were an electrician at one time, or they were a plumber, you'd be like, dude, you're a loser, man. Like,
what's wrong with you? Yeah.
Why are you living in the past like all the time?
I like you. I'll see guys that I remember being with my family. My parents are from Georgia, and my dad went to visit a friend of his, and we went to his house, and he was a veteran, and we pull up, like, he hadn't been in the army for like 15, 20 years or something. And we pull up to his house, and his license plate is a personalized license plate that says like Sergeant Major. I'm like, bro, like, this is like, I like, really? I mean, come on. Like, you haven't been this for a long. It's okay to develop a personality outside of this job you did for 23 or 24 years. It's just, it's very strange. I don't understand having that kind of hole in your soul that you need to fill it with your job. I mean, not your family, not your hobbies, not your love, not your passion, but your fucking job. And it's just, and then looking down, because you're right, we would look down on anybody else doing something like that. And it's also like, as the example I mentioned earlier, is also especially funny for someone who only spent 3 or 4 years in, who, is wearing the hat and everything. That's kind of funny to see. But I don't know. I don't understand how they, it just shows you like the lack of confidence they actually have. And that the fact they're always talking about masculinity, they're always talking about strength, they're always, playing subservience to militarism, because they don't feel confident about themselves, which is why they're so easy to bully. I recommend doing that. Like, it's like, people, a lot of times, whenever I never get into debates with conservatives. I don't do it because, one, it's a waste of time. They're not going to tell me anything I don't already know. I know their arguments better than they do. But bullying is the only language they understand. It's it. And so I always go right after their masculinity every single time. And it works. It always works, because they're deeply insecure about the kind of men they are.
Yeah, there's this new shtick on TikTok that's been hitting my algorithm, and there's this guy that I think it's like, maybe his handle's like graybeard actual or something like that. And his entire content is just him sitting in front of a microphone, and all of his content is focused on women are sluts.
Oh yeah, these guys.
Like any woman, don't get with a woman whose body count is higher than whatever. And I just find it so fascinating. Like, I can't help but like go into the comments and look at all the men who are in there, like, yeah, found out this the hard way. Yeah, my girl left me for whatever. Like, she was a hoe from the beginning, and being like, these comments are full of men who are openly saying they can't keep a woman happy.
Yes. Yeah.
And get the answer to what they're doing wrong. They're coming to the TikTok page of a gray-headed 50 to 60-year-old man to have him tell them what they should be doing differently to please these women.
Yeah. Yeah.
To which the answer is just, they're all hoes, and it's not you, it's them.
Yeah, exactly. It is so funny that these guys just tell on themselves. They just give the game away. It's like, I'm 38 years old, and I've never been able to satisfy a woman once in my life. They've all left me. I hope she hasn't slept with too many guys, because maybe he's hung better than I am. It's just like, they are terrified of everything about women. And so instead of like being a man and doing something about this, like, okay, right? They always say, men, we're the problem solvers. They have this problem in front of them, and what do? They get online and they bitch and complain, and they bitch and moan and bitch. It's all they do. And it's like, you're supposed to be masculine. You're supposed to be alpha, and nothing about you screams alpha. Everything about you screams little child. That's all you're putting forth here. And how do you expect anyone to take you seriously at this point? I don't get it at all.
It's the same guys. It's the same guys when you see the female content creators who are in the military, who are the big names. I have a hard time remembering people's handles on TikTok.
Yeah.
But every video that a female service member puts out, if there's the slightest bit of cuteness to it or playfulness about it, you'll go to the comments, and it's those guys being like, oh, this girl slept her way to the top. Like, first of all, she's like a lieutenant. Like, she's not at the top. And like, what are you talking about? And then the ones that'll be like, sharpshooting, like, oh, your rank on your hat is not.
Oh, fuck off. Like,
wherever. And like, God, this is such a compensating group of individuals. I think I'll go to Female Mill Talk and start pummeling a female service member to make myself feel better.
Yeah, it just shows that they lack feelings of inadequacy as a man, and they're looking for other men to tell them that they're all right. And insulting women is the only thing they have. That's all they got. Because you'll see, because women will put posts up and they'll say something like, I've kind of had it with men. Men have been, just horrible to me every time. So I'm taking a break and I'm not dating men. And those comment sections are flooded with dudes saying, oh, well, guess you're going to die old and alone then. And guess you should get a bunch of cats, guess you're going to be a boring old spinster. Maybe you should come back to dating men. However, whenever you see guys complaining about women, it's like, oh, well, I'm tired of America.
There are no women in
no.
They're none.
None.
Like calling women sluts all day. That's his shtick. I'll scroll through the comments and be like, man, I hope there's some woman in here just eviscerating these pathetic men. No, it's just a bunch of pathetic men.
More dudes.
Comments. That's it.
There are more dudes.
Them the time of day to even acknowledge the fact that they exist.
It's just so crazy. And it's like, and the thing is that they I don't know. It's a very strange phenomenon to watch. Like, it's very strange that, you've been told this your whole life, and they always say that women are like gold diggers. Oh, watch out for women, because, they're just trying to take your money. It's like, first off, you make $42,000 a year. No one is coming after your money. And I've never met a man that was financially secure, that had his shit together, that was, stable and, wealthy or upper middle class or anything like that. I've never heard any of those guys bitch about women, wanting to take their money. I've never seen it happen. It's only like the broke guys who are like, oh man, I'm not going to get with this chick because she's going to fleece me for all my money. It's like, man, you work at, Pop Copy or some shit. Yeah, no one cares. Go ahead.
Go to twice a month. That's what it is.
Say what?
She wants to go to Applebee's twice a month. That's.
I know, and that's all it takes. It's just, and also it's. This is funny. We're down this road here, but also it's a contradictory message because what do they always say? They always say that a real man provides for his woman. She shouldn't have to work at all. She should be staying at home. It's like, okay, why are you mad at them for wanting what you're saying they should want? You should be happy about this, but they're not, because they're losers. They don't know how to talk to women. They have no game. They have no like personal skills. They're not funny. They're not interested.
That circular thought process, though, it's in all part of their lives. Okay. The guys who think like that, the misogynistic, patriarchy, they're pissed that women are learning that they get to do what they want. Like the women don't have to get married when they're 22. And I don't know, the statistics are saying that, like, I don't know what 50% of men are living sexless lives right now because they just can't find a woman. But that type of logic that just doesn't, just like the border. We need to shut down the border because we got all these Mexicans coming over our jobs. And then the next conversation is, these people in this country don't want to work. The drive-in, the restaurant, there's closed down. They don't have enough people to open up the lobby. We need more people in this country who can work. And then, okay, do you want more people in this country to work, or do you want to shut off the borders to keep people from stealing all of our jobs? Where is it that you stand on this issue? I don't know, man.
It's kind of also like with Biden. Like when Biden ran for office last time, or for president last time, I like when they try to co-opt lefty talking points. That's always funny when they try to do stuff like that. And they'll say, well, Biden wrote the crime bill. And so that's how, he's best. Like, okay. Is Joe Biden too tough on crime, or is he a lawless Antifa thug? Like, well, which one is it? You cannot have it both ways. And they always try to. But as far as the border thing, where they say that no one wants to work anymore, and we need to block all these immigrants coming from taking the jobs, that when it gets down to it, I don't know if they've even thought this through, but a lot of them, like the smart ones, actually do have a solution with that. It's like, yeah, we want people to work the jobs. we just want certain people to work the jobs. Like we need to make sure that, you know, white people are having more and more kids to fill these. So we got to, you know, ban abortion and stuff like that, because the country can't get too spicy, if you know what I mean, because then we're looking at societal collapse. And a lot of conservative views boil down to racism or bigotry, like pretty much all of them every time.